Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into the absolute limits of human strength, and we're looking at a foundational movement that has the power to completely transform your health. Seriously, it's something you probably do every single day without even realizing its immense potential. We are, of course, talking about the squat.
595 kilograms? Yeah, you heard that right. That is a mind-bending 1,312 pounds. Back in 2021, powerlifter Nathan Baptist actually squatted this colossal weight wearing a multiply suit and wraps. It basically proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that the squat is the undisputed king of the gym. But hey, it's not just for world record holders.
Here's exactly how we're going to break this down. 1. The king of exercises. 2. The anatomy of squatting. 3. Mastering the frog squat. 4. A universe of variations. And 5. The 30-day transformation.
All right, part 1, the king of exercises. It sounds super simple, doesn't it? Your hips and knees flex to lower your torso, and then they extend to stand you back up. But biomechanically, there is a whole lot happening. As you descend, your ankle joint actually has to dorsiflex, and then it plantar flexes when you stand back up. So the really crucial point here is that whether you are just hauling heavy groceries from the car or lifting a massive barbell, the descent and ascent of a squat is the core mechanic of human physical independence. It is quite literally how we navigate gravity safely. Moving right along to part 2, the anatomy of squatting. Pulling off a successful squat is like conducting a massive orchestra of muscle activation. Your agonist muscles, we're talking the quadriceps femoris, the gluteus maximus, and the soleus, they drive the sheer raw power. But your stabilizing muscles are equally important. Your erector spinae in your back, your rectus abdominis in your core, your hamstrings, they all have to fire up to stabilize the entire load. This isn't just some leg exercise, it's a full-body structural brace. But here's the catch, and you really gotta watch out for this: compensatory movement. This is essentially your body being lazy and taking the path of least resistance. Think about your own posture for a second, because when we lack mobility, say in our ankles or our hips, our bodies cheat. We subconsciously shift the workload to a more comfortable but totally anatomically incorrect pattern. Your knees might buckle inward, or maybe your back arches. And honestly, that is exactly how serious long-term injuries happen. Section 3, mastering the front squat. So how do we fix those bad habits? To build perfect form, you drop into a deep squat, place your elbows inside your knees, and bring your hands together in a prayer pose. That elbow placement right there is the absolute key. It acts as the ultimate fixer because you're using your elbows to physically apply outward force and prevent your knees from caving in. You are literally wedging yourself into perfect biomechanical alignment. From there, you just push through your heels, tense the quads, and raise your hips without ever fully extending your knees. And the payoff for this goes way beyond just muscle burn. By mastering this unique stance, you are actively increasing your vital ankle dorsiflexion flexibility. Plus, it forces you to keep a straight back, which perfectly mirrors exactly how you should lift any heavy object off the ground in real life. You are essentially protecting your lower back for every other lift you ever do by completely rewiring your body's movement patterns. Next up, Section 4, a universe of variations. Let's talk about the classic barbell back squat. Now, depending on whether your ultimate goal is Olympic mobility or raw powerlifting leverage, just shifting the bar a few inches completely changes the mechanics. The high bar squat builds that perfectly upright posture you see in Olympic lifters, while the low bar squat creates a mechanical lever advantage that is heavily favored by powerlifters. Why? Because it lets them move the absolute maximum amount of weight possible. But we certainly don't just stop at putting barbells on our backs. The multiverse of variations is practically endless. You've got the high-repetition Hindu squats or baithaks, historically used by ancient Indian wrestlers and even Bruce Lee. Then there's the awe-inspiring bodyweight mastery of the single-leg pistol squat. Oh, and you can't forget the Steinborn squat, named after strongman Henry Milo Steinborn, where a lifter actually tips a vertical barbell directly onto their back without even using a rack. No matter what your physical goal is, there is absolutely a variation uniquely suited for it. Finally, Section 5, the 30-day transformation. To really understand the sheer scale of how this impacts average everyday people, researchers at Texas A&M University analyzed data from nearly 15,000 sedentary women. These women participated in a 30-minute circuit training setup at Curves. They did this circuit just 3 days a week, plus a little bit of walking, for 30 days. And guess what? It heavily incorporated those very fundamental resistance and squatting movements we'd been talking about, adapted perfectly for a functional circuit. Okay, let's dive into the clinical results of this study.
because they are a huge wake-up call. They definitively prove that you do not need to be an elite powerlifter moving 1,000 pounds to radically turn your health around. A simple, short-term 30-day commitment to resistance training creates massive, totally quantifiable transformations for everyday people. Get this, the real-world triumphs from that 30-day commitment were absolutely staggering. Physiologically, over 14,000 participants dropped an average of nearly 4 total inches and saw major reductions in their blood pressure. But behaviorally, their health completely skyrocketed. Without even being strictly forced to, just the act of engaging in resistance training led them to drop their sugar intake by 24% and their fat intake by over 22%. The physical movement literally triggered a holistic lifestyle shift.
So the biggest takeaway from this explainer is this: the power to change your body is already built right into your anatomy, just waiting for you to take that very first rep. Whether you're out there breaking a 1,300-pound world record or you're just jumping into a 30-day challenge to move completely pain-free, the mechanical foundations are exactly the same. You already possess the biological machinery. So the only question left to ask yourself is, how deep are you willing to go?